Do you feel like you're perpetually running from one task to the next and you're feeling like a hot mess? Are you wondering if you're ever going to be able to shake the stress and be in the clear because you are tired of giving yourself a pep talk every morning to get ready to face the day? If you're like, oh my gosh, this is me, you may be experiencing adrenal fatigue. High cortisol is one of the culprits. There's actually 3 distinct stages of adrenal fatigue, and they all have different sets of symptoms. I'm going to discuss high cortisol today because this is the most common that people experience, and usually when you start going into adrenal fatigue, this is what you will have right away. So cortisol is actually helpful for your body in the short term. It helps protect you from situations where your body feels like your life is at risk somehow. One of the problems is when we experience high levels of cortisol and stress in the long term. When you start experiencing cortisol for a long time, you can start to get some really uncomfortable and frustrating symptoms. So number 1, you are going to feel the state of overwhelm and brain fog, and even doing small things seem like a really hard thing to do. So in the past, you might have been really proud at how productive you used to be getting all your tasks done, but then all of a sudden you're just feeling so frazzled and even the small things are just too much for you. Another thing is you'll feel like you're running off of adrenaline more than your real energy. So you're still gonna have energy to go through your days, but ultimately, you're going to feel this underlying exhaustion. That's because the high cortisol in the adrenals, when you start getting that, your adrenals will also start to produce more adrenaline. This can also increase anxiety too, because in the presence of more adrenaline, you're going to have way more levels of anxiety. And then let's talk about the most frustrating thing, the weight gain. This is really annoying if you have been exercising and eating the same, and then all of a sudden you have this extra 10 pounds, especially the weight around the middle, and then it becomes really hard to lose it. What's happening with the weight gain is when your cortisol levels are increasing, it will actually start to stimulate your body to produce more fat. Then in turn, your fat starts to produce more cortisol, which creates this really vicious cycle. And then your body can become more insulin resistant. So you're going to have more unstable blood sugar, which is in turn going to give you more cravings, more mood swings, and also more energy dips. So that's one of those reasons why losing weight can be a challenge. High cortisol is usually the first phase of adrenal fatigue that most people experience. And it's actually the easiest phase to get out of. If you continue to be in high cortisol in the long term, eventually your adrenals will start to produce low cortisol, which you can run into more serious issues like really low energy, chronic fatigue, achy joints, and even certain autoimmune conditions. These phases of adrenal fatigue can take up to 6 to 12 months to heal. So it's really important if you're in phase 1 to do something about it right away to make sure that you're not progressing to the other stages. So I will want to talk to you about some strategies that you can do right away to start feeling better. The most important thing is to reduce hidden stressors. Any forms of stress are going to keep on increasing your cortisol and stop your body from healing. So number 1, you want to reduce stress. Whatever forms of stress you can control. I know that there's a lot of things in your life that are hard to control that come up, but it's important to do things like saying no to social engagements that are just too much for you, setting strong boundaries, and also doing things like meditation, yoga, or anything that's going to put your body into that relaxed healing state. It doesn't necessarily matter what it is. My goal that I want you to do is find some ways to help your body relax and get into the state that you need to heal. Number 2 is to quit the coffee. And I know it can be really hard, especially when you want that instant energy. You might find yourself gravitating even more to coffee when you have adrenal fatigue. But the problem is that coffee does the same thing to your body that stress does. Coffee is going to increase your cortisol, imbalance your blood sugar, give you more of that insulin resistance, and also increase that adrenaline. So it can be really hard for your body to heal if you're doing coffee. So I really recommend you start by replacing coffee with green tea or matcha powder, or even better, you could learn how to make yourself a healing adaptogen elixir. Number 3 is balance blood sugar. You want to decrease the sugar, and in all of your meals, increase the protein and fat. This is going to stabilize you and help you balance out your cortisol. Your adrenals do have a part to play in your blood sugar balance, and when you have the high cortisol, you're going to have more insulin resistance in your body. So eating regular meals, especially at breakfast, eat an hour after waking up, and make sure you're having that higher fat, high protein breakfast with less carbs. So you want to have something like an egg veggie omelet, or a protein shake with lots of greens and some protein powder and some healthy fats like avocado or almond butter, and stay away from things like cereal and toast. Number 4 is switch up your workouts. Do more high intensity cardio and more circuit training for short periods of time, so less than 15 minutes. This actually is a great way to reduce the insulin resistance and balance your cortisol. And if you're struggling to lose weight, using these workout techniques are really good. What you want to avoid is high moderate intensity cardio training that is more than 30 minutes, so running, spin class, or even doing that heavy hour-and-a-half hot yoga class. Try avoiding those and add in these more short burst workouts, especially in the morning when you first wake up. The 5th thing to do is include adaptogens in your daily routine. Adaptogens are types of herbs that help your body adapt to stress, and they will help naturally decrease your cortisol. Some of my favorites are schizandra berry, ashwagandha, gynostemma, and holy basil. So those are 5 steps that you can start doing right away, but an important thing to do before you get started is know for sure which stage of adrenal fatigue you are in. I did put together a quiz that assesses your symptomology that you can take. It's a free quiz. You can download it below, and that's going to tell you what stage of adrenal fatigue you're in, because if you treat the wrong stage, you can start having opposite results that you want. So it's really important to be totally sure of which stage you're in before you move forward. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If any of you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments, and definitely share and spread the word.